Okay, so what if I told you that buried deep beneath New York's concrete jungle, there's a secret that's way older than the city itself? Today, we're digging into a pretty wild theory, I have to admit, but a fascinating one, the lost pyramids of New York City. So, here's the big question, right? Could there really be massive, ancient pyramids hidden right under the streets of, one of the most modern cities on the planet? And not just that, but could they have been guarded by powerful secret societies for centuries? I know, it sounds completely out there, but stick with me, because we're going to look at the clues. Okay, so to even start to wrap our heads around this, we've got to go back to the city's very foundation. The whole theory hinges on this idea that there's a kind of hidden blueprint for New York, one that was written in ancient symbols by the very secret societies that helped to build this place from the ground up. You see, New York wasn't just built on steel and, a ton of ambition. It was also shaped by groups like the Freemasons, and they apparently left their mark everywhere. We're talking from the layout of the streets to the cornerstones of some of the most famous landmarks. Their symbols are literally hiding in plain sight. The all-seeing eye, the compass, and, this is the important one for us, the pyramid. All right, now maybe the most solid and honestly the weirdest clue is something called Cleopatra's Needle. Get this, it's a real 3,500-year-old Egyptian obelisk, and it's just standing there, right in Central Park, behind the Met. I mean, this isn't a copy, it's the real deal. It's a direct physical link to the ancient world. And the craziest part, its arrival and placement in New York was wrapped up in a whole big Masonic ceremony. I mean, just stop and think about the journey that thing took. It was made for an Egyptian pharaoh, like 1,500 years before the Common Era. Then it travels all the way across the world to land in New York City in 1881. And what do? They put it up at this ancient secret ritual. It's that bizarre connection, right? Spanning thousands of years. That's what really gets the conspiracy theorists going. And that leads us to the million-dollar question. Why? Why go through all that hassle to put this one specific ancient object in this one specific spot? Well, the theorists wonder, was it put there to anchor some kind of hidden energy grid? Or maybe to mark a sacred spot on that hidden blueprint we were talking about? Okay, so we've seen the symbols up on the surface. Now let's go a little deeper. Literally. Let's explore the clues that might be waiting for us right under our feet. So this idea of secret stuff being built underground, it's not just something out of a movie. I mean, just in early 2024, a 60-foot-long tunnel was discovered under a synagogue in Brooklyn. It was built totally in secret by members of the community. So that's a real, modern example of what people can hide just a few feet below the pavement. And when you hear about that, it immediately makes you think, right? If a relatively small group can pull that off today, what could older, much richer, and way more powerful societies have hidden away over hundreds of years? The potential scale is it's staggering to think about. And speaking of scale, some of these legends are absolutely mind-bending. There are these whispers, these urban legends about massive stone structures under Jersey City. We're talking about things that are supposedly heavier than the Great Pyramid of Giza and 6 times wider than the Great Wall of China. I mean, it's just wild. And it makes you ask, could something that huge actually be the foundation of these lost pyramids? But not all the clues are buried deep underground. Let's head back up to the surface. Because the pyramid shape, it's not just some ancient symbol. It's actually alive and well in the city's modern architecture. A perfect example of this is a building called Via 57 West. It's this 35-story apartment building over in Hell's Kitchen. Now, officially, they call it a tetrahedron, but come on, just look at it. The shape is unmistakable. It just rises right out of the ground like this sleek, futuristic version of a pyramid from Giza. It really shows you that this ancient form still has a huge influence on the New York skyline today. But the pyramid's power, it's not just about buildings and architecture. It goes way deeper into the culture of the city itself. For decades, it's been a symbol of power, of mystery, and even of rebellion, right in the heart of New York's biggest art scenes. Okay, check this out. Back in the 80s, there was this dive bar on Avenue A called the Pyramid Club. And this place became ground zero for the drag scene, for punk rock, for all kinds of performance art. And it's definitely not a coincidence that they chose that name and that logo. They had a stepped pyramid right over the door. It became this temple for the counterculture. And that's so perfect, right? It shows that the symbol's power isn't just about ancient secrets, but about representing anything that's alternative, anything that's hidden from the mainstream. It's a perfect parallel to the mystery we're exploring. All right, now we're getting to the really out there part of the story. This is where all these different threads we've been pulling on, the secret societies, the buried stuff, the symbolism, this is where it all gets woven together into one huge, grand conspiracy theory. So this theory basically connects our hidden pyramids to another legendary New York mystery, the Montauk Project. If you haven't heard of it, it's this infamous conspiracy theory that says the US government was running these secret, super unethical experiments out on Long Island. And they were supposedly trying to figure out everything from time travel to mind control. So how in the world do these two things connect? Well, here's the theory. The Montauk experiments would have needed a massive, stable source of power, right? And where did that power come from? You guessed it, the buried pyramids of New York City. The idea is that these pyramids were designed to suck up and focus electromagnetic energy, beaming it out through their peaks to power these incredible and pretty terrifying experiments. So, after going down this entire rabbit hole, where does that leave us? Well, you've really got two possibilities. On the one hand, there's the incredible idea that there are real, physical pyramids buried deep in the bedrock, hidden by secret societies for centuries. But on the other hand, there's the idea that these pyramids are really just powerful myths, symbols that reflect our own collective and very human fascination with mystery. And honestly, that's where we have to leave it. Is the ultimate question at the very core of this whole legend. Are New York's pyramids an actual physical thing buried in bedrock just waiting to be discovered? Or are they something buried a little deeper inside our own collective longing for a good mystery? For now, whatever the answer is, it's still hidden just beneath the surface.